expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I have something a little different for you guys. The last couple videos I've made were more scripted and organized. Well, today I wanted to share more of myself with you. With 2022 finally behind us, I wanted to reflect on the films I saw last year, and the best way I could think to do that was to make a tier list. These aren't just new films, mind you, just any film I saw for the first time last year. Here's how that went. Alright, here we are at the tier list. We have the tier list here. We have our movies down here. They're not in any specific order. Definitely not the order I watched them in. I don't even think I could tell you the order that I saw all of these movies. The only one that's in any particular order is the last one on the list here is going to be... I especially put that one down at the bottom because I genuinely think it's the best movie I saw all year. So, yeah, we'll get to that when we get there. Have all my tiers here. Have all the generic run-in-the-mill tiers you'll find in a tier list. S, A, B, C, D. As well as two additional tiers. One on the top, one on the bottom. Up here at the top we have It's a Marvel Movie. Down at the bottom we have It's a Shitty Marvel Movie. So that'll be fun. Alright. So we'll go ahead and start off. Over here we have Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. Yeah, I'll be honest, back when I was a young kid, when this was on TV, I watched my fair share of Beavis and Butthead as a kid. I never really watched the revival series a whole lot. I watched the old series and Beavis and Butthead Do America. I'm a big fan of the movie. And I was really excited that they came out with a sequel, Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. You can catch that on Paramount Plus. It's an exclusive out there. And how does Thomas feel about it? Well, Thomas likes it. I was very happy that Mike Judge went and made this movie, and was even more happy that he followed it up with a whole new season of Beavis and Butthead episodes. I would very much like it if he would continue that and make another season. I know that the Paramount Plus episodes are currently airing on Comedy Central, so I guess we'll see what happens with that. But as far as where I would put this, I would probably put it at a B. It was a B. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Lightyear. This was another one I liked, actually. Childhood favorite movie of mine was Toy Story. I'm a big fan of the character Buzz Lightyear. I'm more of a Sheriff Woody guy, but Buzz isn't a bad second protagonist. I'm a big fan of him. I watched a lot of the Buzz Lightyear Star Command series when it was out. I wasn't necessarily turned off by the fact that Tim Allen didn't voice him. I actually really liked what Chris Evans brought to the character. And honestly, I thought it was pretty darn close. That being said, I would also probably put that as a B. I'd probably put that a grade lower than Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, however. Bullet Train. Fantastic movie. Very stylish movie. Very violent movie. Takes place on a train in Japan. Stars Brad Pitt, Aaron Taylor Johnson. His name is escaping me right now, but he's the guy that plays Phastos in Eternals. He's really good in it too. Great cast. Very fast-paced. Like I said, very stylish, very gory. If you like violent, fast-paced violent movies, this one would be right up your alley. I'm a big fan of those, so I'm going to have to put that right here in the A tier. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's a Marvel movie. Anyone that has seen my last two videos knows that I am very biased when it comes to the MCU and the Marvel brand as a whole. For the most part, if it came out and it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you can just assume that I loved it. I'm not saying I'm not overly critical about some aspects of the MCU, but for the most part, I'm actually pretty content with what they put out. Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery. So I love this movie. I love Knives Out, the first Knives Out. Love Rian Johnson's directing, his writing. Loved what he did with Benoit Blanc, as well as what Daniel Craig did with the character when he portrayed him. And fantastic ensemble cast. But you know how they top it? They make an even better mystery. Daniel Craig does an even better job as Benoit Blanc. And an even better ensemble cast. I mean, we're talking about Edward Norton, Dave Bautista, Kate Hudson. Oh, Catherine Hahn. Come on. It's a fantastic movie, and because of that, it belongs in the S tier. It's our first S tier movie, guys. Just take my word for it. It's on Netflix. Check it out. Same with Bullet Train. That's also on Netflix. Definitely recommend that one. So for our next selection, we have Halloween Ends. This might end up being a little controversial. I haven't really heard a whole lot of people that have liked it. I loved it. It's probably my new favorite Halloween movie. For those of you that don't know, my favorite horror or Halloween movie up until now has always been Halloween 4, which was back in like 1987, 1989, somewhere around there. And Halloween movies typically, I don't know, they're kind of give or take for me. Same with the Rob Zombie ones. Like, I love the first one. The second one, I'm just like, I can skip that one. But this new trilogy of Halloween movies, I have to say, really did impress me, and Halloween Ends was a fantastic finale to that. I would give it the A tier ranking, but just one notch below Bullet Train, because Bullet Train was just fantastic. The Batman, starting really strong with this list. I see a little bit more of the lower tier ones are starting to kind of pop up, though. But Batman, again, another A tier, but probably below Halloween Ends. Robert Pattinson surprised me. He's my new favorite Batman after Michael Keaton. And this one is definitely my new favorite Batman movie for the longest time, since Batman Returns has been my favorite Batman movie. But this one, I think, is probably taking that spot. Texas Chainsaw 2022. I'm a huge horror fan. Love horror. When I first started getting into movies and started getting into the idea of wanting to make movies myself, horror was where I really first started really getting into being obsessed with just watching movies all the time. I watched movies when I was a kid, but never really started thinking about the intricacies and even really wanting to make movies until I discovered horror movies. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of my absolute favorites, the classic, and I actually have some words I want to say about it later on in the year on the channel. I'm really excited to do that. However, for the new 2022 one, it's kind of like a pseudo sequel. I liked it. I didn't hate it. Definitely not my favorite in the franchise, and by far not one of my favorite horror movies, but I didn't hate it. It's a decent flick. We'll put it in the C ranking. Lost City. This is the new Sandra Bullock, Channing Tatum flick. It's really good. Sandra Bullock plays a writer, romance. Well, she's like a adventure / romance kind of author who's kidnapped by Daniel Radcliffe and out to go find this lost city. And Channing Tatum plays like the cover model for her books. And he tries to go out and prove that he's not incompetent by trying to save her. Brad Pitt also has a role in it, and he probably has the funniest bit in the whole movie. I don't want to spoil it. Definitely check this out on Paramount Plus. It's definitely still on there. I'm gonna put it in the B tier, and I'm actually gonna put it give it the highest rating in the B tier thus far. definitely higher than Lightyear and Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe for me. All right. Okay. Age of Adeline. This is a 2015 romance flick centered around a woman who doesn't age. Blake Lively does a wonderful job in this movie. We have like a movie night that we do with some people that we work with, and we put a bunch of movies in a hat designated around a theme. And I believe the theme was obscure movies for this one, and this is what my fiance picked, and it's the one that won. And honestly, I liked it. I liked it a lot. It's really good. Harrison Ford's in it, and he does a fantastic job with it as well. Very strong B-, right after Lightyear. Uncharted. So a little bit of background information about me. I play video games. I'm a gamer. I would consider myself a casual gamer. I typically gravitate towards games that are long-standing franchises and IPs I'm familiar with. And normally if it's an IP that is new, I'll need a little bit more convincing before I hop on board. Uncharted, I played a couple of the titles. I played the first 2 titles, haven't played the third or the fourth one. And so I don't have much of a connection with the lore of Nathan Drake or the Uncharted series as a whole, but I am a huge Tom Holland fan, and I really like Mark Wahlberg. So I actually ended up really liking this movie. However, I will say B-. B-. Good movie. Pretty strong movie, but very close to C tier for me, for my liking. Spiderhead. This is a newer Netflix movie. It stars Chris Hemsworth and Miles Teller. Hemsworth runs a drug research center, and Teller's one of the patients there. It's very good psychological thriller. Highly recommend it. Like I said, you could check it out on Netflix. We'll go ahead and give that a B. Actually, we'll put that right over here after Lost City. Definitely worth checking out. Death on the Nile. This is another murder mystery one. Another one that I highly recommend. If you haven't already, definitely check out the one that came before it, Murder on the Orient Express. It's another really good one. Both of them are directed by Kenneth Branagh, who also plays the detective in the films, Hercule Poirot. It's good. I like it. I'm still going back and forth. I might have to watch it again, but I don't know if I prefer this one over the first one. Just like Glass Onion, by far is better than Knives Out. But Death on the Nile, I don't know. I think I might have to watch it because I don't think I've seen it since it came out. But if I had to rank it, it would definitely go right up here. It's a high B, B+ right now. It's the highest B we have. All right. Don't Look Up. So, Don't Look Up is a really good movie directed by Adam McKay, who also did some other really good modern comedy movies that everyone knows, like Step Brothers. He did the Talladega Nights movies, stuff like that. This one's more of a political comedy. It's really, really good. And it's kind of a really cool spin on the Armageddon approach. Whereas, there's this thing coming to destroy the world, and we know about it, and we have the ability to do something about it, but no one can agree on what to do, so we just don't do anything. And it's really funny because you got DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. They play these nerdy, socially awkward, sciencey types, and then you have the politicians, and the president's played by, I think it's Glenn Close. Meryl Streep. Oh my God. Meryl Streep plays the president, and she couldn't care less. It's fantastic. If you like political comedies and stuff like that, I would highly recommend it. It's an A. It's an A for me. All right. Morbius. Marvel movie. I'll be honest, I'm not the biggest... I don't know a whole lot about Morbius when it comes to... his role as an anti-hero in the comics, I'm more familiar with him as someone that fights Spider-Man, especially in the animated series. But the thing that brings it down to Marvel movie status for me is the post-credit scene. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't seen it. Just know that the post-credit scene just makes this the biggest piece of shit that I have ever seen Marvel do. And yeah, I've seen Howard the Duck. So Clerks 3, S tier. In fact, it's even higher than Glass Onion. I could sit here and explain myself for this one, but I actually have a whole video plan that's going to be coming out here in a couple months that will elaborate more on that. So, but just know for now, Clerks 3 is for sure S tier. Jurassic World Dominion. So allow me to elaborate on my experience or my relationship with the Jurassic Park series. I love the original 3. I love Jurassic Park, Lost World, and Jurassic Park 3. Lost World probably being my personal favorite. I know that's a controversial decision, but I'm a huge Jeff Goldblum fan. I love Ian Malcolm. He's the main character in that one, so got a soft spot in my heart. Jurassic World, fantastic movie. I was obsessed with it for a little bit. Fallen Kingdom was a big old giant turd in my opinion. However, Dominion had promise for me because of the original actors finally coming back. And honestly, controversially I would even say, I think they pulled through with it. I liked it. I thought it was really good. It's going to be an A, but it's a pretty low A, I will admit. As far as the other movies we have up there right now, it doesn't quite hold up, but Dominion, honestly, was not a bad movie, in my opinion. Most people would agree, it appears, based on what I've seen on the internet, but that's my opinion. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It's a Marvel movie. In fact, it was a much better Marvel movie than Multiverse of Madness was. I loved that movie. You know what? In case you guys are fans and haven't seen it yet, I don't want to spoil it. It's on Disney Plus right now. If you have Disney Plus, just go check it out. It's good. It's fantastic. My Blue Heaven is a 1990s movie starring Steve Martin and Rick Moranis. So I'll be honest, going into this, I wasn't the most educated of Steve Martin fans. I grew up with Cheaper by the Dozen. That's the era of films I grew up with, in case you were wondering. Yeah, him and Cheaper by the Dozen, I used to watch that on repeat millions of times. And then The Jerk, I watched that a couple of times. And then he did a movie with Eddie Murphy. Bowfinger is what it was called, and that's a trip too. Outside of that, I wasn't really all that familiar with his work. And then he came out with that show on Hulu called Only Murders in the Building. It's him, Selena Gomez, and Martin Short, and they solve murders in their apartment building, and that's really good too. So for his birthday, my cousin he wanted to watch this, and we watched it, and it was really good. I actually really liked it. So I will say it's a C, but it's a very high C. Thor Love and Thunder, it's a Marvel movie. However, it did not match the same hype that Wakanda Forever and Multiverse of Madness did. But it was good. I liked it. Fantastic. Rob Zombie's The Munsters. All I'm going to say about this is I liked it. It was fine. I like the Munsters. I like the cheesiness. So the fact that they were able to try to emulate that didn't bother me whatsoever. What does bother me is that this is a movie made by Rob Zombie. Rob Zombie's name attached to a movie kind of has a certain connotation attached to it, even though he warned us that it was going to turn out to be the movie that it was, so that we wouldn't be surprised. It still does kind of sour the experience a little bit, knowing what it could have been made by who it is. But then again, a lot of his movies are there's a big, huge divide between the fan base as to which movies he makes are good and which ones are bad to begin with. I don't think I've really seen a Rob Zombie movie that I've hated. I would say this is probably the first one that I'm not completely all in on. However, I did appreciate what they were going for, and I did see what it. I did enjoy it for what it was. That being said, it's gonna get a low C. Hellraiser 2022. This was probably the second best horror movie I saw this year. No, this would be the third best horror movie I saw this year. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to correct myself. It was better than Texas Chainsaw 2022, but there are two, as you can see, there are two other horror movies on here that it just couldn't match up with. This one, you could definitely tell they were going for a Hellraiser movie for once. The bunch of them after like the third or fourth one, they were all about they didn't start out as Hellraiser movies. They just were written as movies, just their own movies, and then they were eventually rewritten as Hellraiser movies, so that way they wouldn't lose the rights to the franchise. This one, I feel like they actually went out of their way to make a Hellraiser movie for once. And that's not saying I will watch any Hellraiser movie, but typically what I do is if I'm in the mood for Hellraiser, I'll watch 1, 2, or 3, 4 if I'm feeling a little squirrely. But anything after that, I have to be in the mood for it, and I have to be sick of the other ones that I just listed out for you. Honestly, though, I think Hellraiser 2022 could actually make it onto one of my usual watch lists. Very, very high C. The highest C that we have right now. Thank you. Yeah, this works. All right. Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore. Honestly, I'm not going to lie. I was a little hesitant, and I'll tell you why I was hesitant. It was because of the recasting of Johnny Depp as Grindelwald. But I stopped being worried for just a little bit, teensy little bit, when I found out who was playing him, which ended up being Mads Mikkelsen. I love Mads. Great actor. Loved him in Casino Royale. He plays a really good role in Rogue One. And to a lesser degree, Doctor Strange. Love the movie, but Caecilius, kind of lacking in the villain department. But Mads was able to put out a good performance in that regard as well. Does the same thing here in Secrets of Dumbledore, but I have to say, very, very soured by the fact that it's not Johnny Depp in the role. Sorry, Mads, you couldn't escape it, but Johnny Depp's shadow will always be looming over you when it comes to the role of Grindelwald, and I stand by that. Chippendale Rescue Rangers. I grew up on the tail end of the Disney Afternoons runtime, but Chippendale Rescue Rangers was definitely one that I absolutely loved, and I really liked what they did with this movie, how they made it essentially like a movie about behind the scenes of the show, where Chip and Dale are actors playing characters, and those aren't actually their voices. They're actually John Mulaney and Andy Samberg. I don't know. I really like the vibe that this movie captured, and because of that, it is right in between the Batman and Jurassic World Dominion. Ticket to Paradise. This is a very unique romantic comedy where it's about two people who fell in love at one point and have since lost that love and are trying to stop their daughter from getting married, and it is hijinks ensues. It's fantastic. You'll have to watch it. I believe it was Paramount Plus where I watched this. You could still watch it there. Really, really good if you're into that kind of thing. I'm gonna put it right here in between Lost City and Spiderhead in the B tier. All right, now we have the latest masterpiece made by Jordan Peele. I never saw Us. I still need to get around to seeing that. Hopefully this year I will find the opportunity to check that out. Get Out, however, very good movie. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Now we have Nope. And I have to tell you, I was very impressed. I kind of thought I would be. I didn't think I would be disappointed by this movie, but I kind of thought I knew what I was going into just based off the teaser, I kind of thought I had it. Honestly, I don't even want to say what I thought it was because I don't want to give you a hint of what it couldn't be. Just know I was a tad bit on, but a tad bit off. And I ended up being very, very happy. This is going up here in the S tier once again. Thank you, Jordan Peele, for this. I will be watching it again very soon. If you haven't seen it yet, Paramount Plus is where you want to go. Max Keeble's Big Move. This was one that I missed as a child, that my fiance likes to talk about a lot. Honestly, were I younger and this one didn't pass me by, I would probably appreciate this film a lot more. However, I didn't, and I don't. So it was very hard for me to put my mind back to where I was back then for when this movie came out. And because of that, I don't know. I can appreciate it for what it is. However, it just didn't do anything for me. So D. It'll be a high D because there's one more movie that's going to be going down here. And my fiance probably already knows what that is, and she's going to be very sad, but it's happening. Scream 2022. The best horror movie I saw this year. A big Scream fan. When I was getting into horror movies, Scream was one of the first ones that I got into. Fell in love with the series. Saw Scream 4 in the theaters. Love that movie. This movie is a fantastic continuation from it. That's all I can say. Goes right up here in S tier, right in between Clerks 3 and Glass Onion. Sonic the Hedgehog 2, very good follow-up to the first Sonic movie, which, let's be honest, was already a good movie in its own right, with Jim Carrey's portrayal as Dr. Robotnik. And that continues, and with that, we add Tails and Knuckles, who was played brilliantly by Idris Elba. Hands down my favorite part of the movie. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what they do when the third one comes out. So we're going to go ahead and put it right here. It is a B+, in my opinion. It's definitely the highest B that we have in the tier list thus far. Lizzie McGuire movie. This is that other movie that I said was going to go right here in the D tier because, again, I didn't grow up watching it, which is kind of weird because I watched all of the other Disney Channel original movies based off of shows growing up. I don't know why this one passed me by, but yeah, didn't do anything for me. Much to my fiance's chagrin, she is very, very upset about this fact. In fact, I kind of make fun of her a lot for it, and I'll be lucky if I get married this year, but we'll find out. We'll see. Turning Red, this was the latest Pixar movie, and it was good. It made me laugh. It was fun. However, I think out of the Pixar movies that came out in the recent years, the ones that really come to my mind right now are Luca and Soul. Those movies were phenomenal, and Soul in particular, I love that movie. Compared to those, Turning Red just doesn't hold a candle. So, honestly, I think I would put that right here, right after Lightyear, personally. Now, the best movie I saw all year was kind of a sleeper hit for me. I didn't even know anything about this movie going into it outside of what the trailer was, and that is The Menu. I don't even want to say anything about this movie for fear of spoiling it. Just know it's about Ray Fiennes, and he plays a chef on a secluded restaurant who makes dinner for a group of people. The main group in that group of people being played by Anya Taylor-Joy and Nicholas Hoult. It is a fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it yet, go to HBO Max, check it out. It's fantastic. You're going to love it. I love it. Hell, I might just go watch it right now. It's The Menu, hands down. So, yeah. This is the tier list of the 32 movies that I saw this year. I feel like there's at least a couple more that I was forgetting, but like I said, I was trying to compile this list this past month after it's been a while. For next year's tier list, when I go to do this, I've been keeping track of the movies that I'm seeing, and I'm hoping the list is going to be a little bit longer than this one was. But yeah, this is my tier list. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you disagree with how I rank some stuff, just remember it's just my opinion. That being said, feel free to tell me how dumb I am and why down in the comments below. If you liked what you saw, please don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, cinephiles, may the Force be with you.